Welcome, 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 welcome. It's been a minute since I've been on Amazon and YouTube at the same time. It's been a long time. I'm so happy to be here. Listen, welcome to the BookPreneur Show. I'm Audrey Bell Kearney. I'm the host of the BookPreneur. I am a bookpreneur, been one for a very long time. If you have not heard of me or heard about me, or this is your first time joining me, be sure to check out the bookpreneur.com. That's the weekly newsletter. Also, if you subscribe to the channel, the Bookpreneur channel, you also find hear my other episodes about how I got started in publishing and all that good stuff. So I've been publishing now for a very long time. I've been in media for 24 years. I published my very first book in 2000 in 1998. So this was my first book. It's funny because so you got to go back and look at the other episodes to find out about this book. So it's a long story that I can't go into again right now, but check it out. This is the very first book I published. Now I'm doing something different. I have been publishing for such a long time, but I've never, ever, ever published a fiction book ever. All of my books, and I think at this point, I think I've done 8, have been books about business, how to start a business, how to write a book, how to self-publish a book. It told a story about the doll when we started the doll company. I'm an inventor. I invented the first plus size fashion dolls. So I kind of told the story of how we got started on that journey with the dolls, which is what I call my first real business. And then, but the book came before the dolls. So this book came before the dolls. So this book was published in 1998, and you got to go back and look at the other videos to see the story. But I invented the dolls, DOLLS. People always say, "What are you saying?" I'm saying dolls. So plus size fashion dolls. So when you think of Barbie, our dolls were twice the size of Barbie because Barbie was really skinny. And so we created those dolls. But after I finished that company, I decided to become a business coach. So I started to become a business coach. I invented the dolls in 1999. And I ran that company from 99 to 2005. And after that, people would ask me, how do I start a business? So many people would ask me that I decided to write a book about it. And then after I wrote the book about how to start the business and run the business from home, which I had a company that I had created this doll, and I was running this company from home, and my dolls were being manufactured in Hong Kong, and we doing all these logistical things that were going on. It was crazy. And but we were doing it. And but so many people would ask me, how do you start a home-based business? And that was around 2005. So I think I wrote my second book. And then after I wrote that book, people started to ask me, how do I write and self-publish my own book? And then I wrote a book of how to self-publish a book. I started a publishing company in 2000. And I started my first publishing company, I think 2002, I think. It was called Milestone Publishing. And I was helping people learn how to publish books. I had this office. As a matter of fact, whatever year 9/11 happened was the year that I started my publishing company, because I remember starting my publishing company called Milestone Publishing in June of that year. And then by September, when everything happened, I was deathly afraid to go into my office because it was on the 5th floor and I didn't want to go into my office. And I had all these manuscripts in the office from people who had sent me their books and we were going to publish them. But because of what was happening, I was so afraid till I closed the office down. I lost a lot of money. Because I had a whole office suite, I had staff. It was crazy, but I was so afraid to go back into the building after 9/11 till I shut the whole thing down in September. And I opened my office, my Milestone Publishing business, in June of that year. And by September, we would close down because I was afraid to go into the office. But anyway, that started my publishing journey. I've also I published newspapers and magazines. So I've been publishing and doing media for a very, very long time, since about 24 years it has been now. So, but I've never, ever, ever even thought about doing a fiction book. Now I've had ideas about fiction books, but I don't even have, because I don't consider myself a writer, because for me, all of the books I've written up until like last year when I did the podcasting book have been books that I just sat down to my computer. All of the stuff that has been in my head from me starting the businesses and all the things that I've learned, I would just sit down and type that stuff out and turn it into a book. Because for me, it was about, hey, these are the steps that I took to do this part of my business. Hey, these are the steps that I took to do this. It was real easy for me to do that part. People who write novels, they are a different type of people. Like people that do fiction, I mean, for me, they are writers, right? Not saying that everybody else isn't, but I think it takes a special kind of person to come up with these scenes in their heads and these characters and these plots. I think it takes a special kind of person. Now, that being said, I ain't that person. However, we got some amazing tools out there these days that can help me become the person, help my creativity in that space. So I'm going to be working on my first, as a series. It's a 7-book series, and I'm going to leverage all of these amazing tools. Like, we got all kind of AI writers, and I get it. I know you people who are very, very talented. You can think of all these plots and all of this stuff. I'm not that person. However, there's some stories that I would love to tell. I just don't know how to do that, because we have all of these amazing tools. Like, we got all these different kind of book writers and all these things. I just want to be able to do that and enjoy. And it's so much more bigger than just a book, right? I see like this whole plan. Like, so in my head, things always play out like in a whole, like the whole plan kind of thing. Like, it's not just I got a book. It's like I had this idea for this book, but then there are other parts to the book. Like, it's the book, and then it's the podcast, and it's the video, and it's the webinars, and it's all of this stuff. That's how my mind thinks. It doesn't think, it's not one dimensional in the way I think. It's really like it's always very big, which is sometimes a problem. But I have this idea for this book, and I had the idea probably last year for this book that I wanted to do, right? But I'm not that person. My mind doesn't think in plots like that. It thinks in very very big, but big logically, right? Not big where I have to think of like, well, why did this person kill that person? Why did this happen? It doesn't think like that. But if you say to me, hey Audrey, I wrote this book and I need to, hello, hi J-Lo. It say hi J-Lo. Hi J-Lo. Hi y'all. Hi. I love them flowers. Thank you for stopping by. It says, my mind doesn't think like that. It thinks like marketing. So when I think about my book, it starts to think about the marketing side of the book, right? It's not thinking about the plots and what's going in the book. So I'm interested to see how I can use these AI writers to write the story for me, and how I can move the book along in the publishing path, right? Like, what do I do to make the book a bestseller? Because the goal for me is to make the book a bestseller, right? So even though I'm not writing it, and I know, please guys, I know I'm not a writer. I said I'm not a writer like that. I'm not a fiction writer. I already know that. However, I am a big thinker. So I will claim that. Do I claim to be a fiction writer? I do not. I do have a claim to be a marketing person, a marketing strategist. I do claim to be a big thinker, a big idea person. That's who I am. And I have this big idea for this book series. It is a 7-book series. And I feel like, to me, it's going to be really interesting. And it's a fantasy fiction. It's a fantasy fiction based on something that I discovered about myself that to most people is really fantasy. And so I want to take that information that I discovered about myself, turn it into a book, take that book, and then move it through the system and see, can I get it to become a bestseller? That's my goal. And I'm excited about that, because this will be the first time I have ever attempted anything in fiction. Now, I don't know anything about fiction. Nothing. If you All of my books on Amazon are all, and some of them are in the shopping carts, is all about how to do something, how to write a book, how to start a podcast, how to use video, how, except for one. The one about the dolls just tells a story about how we started the doll. So I don't know how to write fiction. I don't know how to write fiction. I tell stories every day because I podcast every single day, like except for the weekends, except for Sundays. So Monday through Thursday, I do a live podcast called Good Morning Georgia. I live in Georgia. We do a live video podcast talking about what's happening in and around Georgia. I do that all day long. I've been podcasting since 2009. I wrote a book on that because that's what I do. And that's what I have been doing for such a long time. So I can write how-to books really easily. I mean, without any kind of special AI writers. If I know how to do it, I can write it. Now, I sat down and I wrote that book, A to Z Self-Publishing. There was no AI writer. That was me sitting down writing, because that's what I've done. And I've been self-publishing since 1998. The only book on the market at the time when we self-published our first book was a book by Dan Pointer. And he was talking about how to self-publish a book. I'm going to be writing my first fiction, and I'm going to see if I can bring on fiction writers to, like tell me like what should I be doing to help market and grow the book. Like there are some amazing fiction writers out there right now who do some great work, and they have become millionaires because of their book. Some of it is directly related to the book, some of it is the book, and then you have all these other cross pieces that go with the book. Like it may be they wrote the book, and then the book got them speaking engagements, and then speaking engagements got them big money on stages and things like that, or they could have just sold millions of books, right? So my goal is to learn from those people as I share this journey with you. And I'm so souped up because I haven't been able to go on Amazon in a long time. I literally had to find another software that will allow me to stream to YouTube and Amazon at the same time. And I'm so excited. I have been streaming with StreamYard. For some reason, StreamYard just would not work with Amazon. I found out about Restream.io, and here I am. And I was like, I'm so souped up. So even when I bring my guests on to talk about, how to become a bookpreneur, and I'll be talking about my fiction journey, but not everybody is into fiction. Like there are some people's they're making tons of money from doing coloring books. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, people are making money selling coloring books. Yes, they're creating coloring books and they're selling them on Amazon. They're selling them on all these platforms, Etsy. There are people who are killing the game with journals. They're selling them on Amazon. They're selling them on Etsy, ebooks, all kinds of anything you can think of in the book space, they're doing it. So I'll be coming on every Sunday, live in here on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, live on. I may be live on LinkedIn. I haven't determined that yet. Like right now, I'm live on Amazon, and I'm live on Amazon right now, and I'm live on YouTube. And I think I can go live on LinkedIn, or I may go live on TikTok. So I'm still trying to figure out which one I want to go live on. LinkedIn, I do so much stuff on LinkedIn until I don't know if I necessarily want to do this on LinkedIn. So I'm just going to have to figure it out. But anyway, I'm going to be writing my fiction. And so if you guys want to follow what I'm doing and just to see how it's going, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Amazon channel. And I'll be on here every Sunday talking about my journey as a bookpreneur. Also, if you go to thebookpreneur.com, you can subscribe to my free newsletter. Because I feel like if you're not a creative person, we have so many wonderful tools available right now to allow you to do whatever you want to do, really, especially in the creative space. I don't know how to write fiction, but I'm going to use Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, somebody to help me get this storyline in my head into paper, and then to get that into a book form. Now, everything else after that part comes out of my head, I can do the rest. I know how to get it set up. I know because I've been doing it for so long. So I know what to do. I know how to get it on Amazon. I know how to get it on all the other bookstores through like Ingram Sparks and all of those different platforms. I know how to do all of that. It's just that I don't write fiction. So this is going to be challenging a little bit different for me. I'm not saying challenging because it's probably going to be really easy because of the tools I'm going to use, but it's going to be different because now I have to find readers to actually read a fiction that I've written. I'm the president of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. So I'm always around people in business, always. I'm a president of a chamber. I'm always around people in business. So it's a little bit easier for me to get my books in front of people in business because I'm always, as a matter of fact, I spoke at a huge conference yesterday. I was exhausted in Atlanta. So I'm always, and it was like 1,000 people at the conference. So I'm always around business people. So the audience for my books are there because that's where I am. And I spoke yesterday about podcasting and video marketing because that's what I do on a regular basis. So I'm always around those people. I don't know. I'm not around people who read fiction. So I have to find an audience for my fiction. And then I'm writing, my books are going to be fantasy fiction. So I'm talking about fiction and fantasy fiction. So now I have to find the right audience that's going to want to read fantasy fiction, right? And when I say fantasy, like fairies and, all of that kind of stuff, that's what I'm writing. And I'm writing that based on something that I discovered about myself. And I was like, that's pretty cool, and not everybody believes what I believe. And that's cool too. But there are a lot of people out there who believe what I believe. And the books are going to be about that. And it's a 7-part series for that. And it may go on. I stopped at 7 because 7 kind of got me to the completion of what I was trying to do. And I honestly believe that once I do book number 1, the next goal is to turn that book into a movie. Yeah. So I'm saying that out loud because I feel like that's going to be the next thing once the book is done. Like once the first book is done, I feel like I could turn that book into a movie franchise. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be back on Amazon. If you need to, write a book or start a podcast, my books are in the shopping cart. Be sure to just click on it and buy one. And I'm pretty accessible, y'all. So if you want to reach out to me, you can go to the BookPreneur and join the newsletter. You can also go to all my websites. I got a bunch of them. You can go to noisemedia.us, noisemedia.us. You'll find all of my everything about me there. And if you want to find out more about the work that I do as the president of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce, you can go to GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com. But if you want to follow this journey of me, because my goal is to have it become a bestseller. That's the goal. Not just an Amazon bestseller. I want to be an Amazon bestseller, a New York Times bestseller. I want to be a bestseller. I'm going to be a bestseller. And now that's going to take a lot of marketing. That's going to take me getting the book done. And then that's going to take me putting all my marketing knowledge that I have locked up in my head for years behind the book to get it done. And I believe I can do it. I believe I can do it because I just have to find my audience. That's all. That's a little bit different for me. So I'm going to find my audience. I want you guys to help me, keep cheering me on. And for all of you real writers out there, because I don't consider myself a real writer. But for all of you real writers out there, listen, I'm just enjoying this whole thing. The technology is not going to go anywhere. So please don't be mad at me for really taking advantage of the technology. I applaud you guys for what you do. I think you are a special group of people. I really, really do, because I can't do that. I met some really special people yesterday, right? That companies do millions and millions of dollars. They were in the class that I taught at the conference. Their companies do millions and millions of dollars every year. And I'm asking them, what's your origin story? Is it on your website? And they're all looking at me like a deer in headlights. I'm like, wow. So what I realize is that we're all good at something, but we're not all good at everything. I'm good at what I do. And you as a fiction writer probably are fantastic at what you do. But that does not mean that because I'm not good at that I can't do that, or I can't leverage the tools that are available to do that. It's exciting to me. I know, and for those people, they were looking at me like, Audrey, I could never do all that stuff you do, and I get it. But if they decided, you know what, I want to do what Audrey does, you think that I'm going to be upset about it? I'm not, because I feel like there's room out here for all of us. For me, it's a matter of I love to be creative, and I'm not artsy. Like my computer gives me the opportunity to be artsy. I've been using the computer since I was in like 10th grade. I'm a grandmother now. Let me say that part again. I started learning how to program when I was in 10th grade in high school. I am a grandmother. And I always wanted to be artsy. Like I took sculpting in college, right? And I failed because I'm not artsy. My computer allows me to be artsy. And because of all of the new technologies that are available, with all these different AI tools, now I can really be this person I always wanted to be behind my computer though. Right. So I'm excited to create my first fiction book. And I hope you guys subscribe to the channels and follow me and connect with me and share your story. If you are a fiction writer and your book is on Amazon and you want to come on this show and talk, listen, let me know, because I can I'm an Amazon influencer. Not that I don't know if that means a whole lot. What it does mean though is that I can talk to you on Amazon. I can interview you on Amazon. And if your book is on Amazon, I can put your book in the shopping cart and people can actually buy your book while we're talking live about your book on this show. So that's what I do know. I know that I can do that. And so if you are an author of fiction, nonfiction, coloring books, ebooks, journals, and you're making some money, you're a real bookpreneur and you're making money and you want to come on this show with me, email me, Audrey at noise, that's NOISE media.us. No, Audrey, AUDREY at noise, NOISE media.us. Email me and say, and put guest in the subject line, and I'll bring you on the show to talk about what you do. And especially if your book is on Amazon, because this is a great opportunity for you to sell your book. Like I have been on the show like before StreamYard started acting crazy with Amazon. I would bring authors on and I would see people buy their book, which was exciting for me because it gave me the opportunity to give them a platform to sell their book. So if you are an author and you want to come on the show on my live stream, I'm live streaming right now to Amazon and YouTube at the exact same time. I'm probably going to live stream to TikTok pretty soon, as well as some other platforms. So I'm excited about that as well. So listen, I don't want to talk you guys' ear off. It's a beautiful Sunday here in Georgia. I just wanted to jump on here and I just wanted to say, I'm excited about this journey that I'm about to go on. I'm excited about being able to share it with you. I'm excited about my new series of books that I'm about to create, leveraging AI and all of these great tools that we have out there. I'm excited about meeting new authors in the space. I'm excited about meeting new authors in the coloring book space and the journals and the ebooks and all of these great books that they got going on out there. And they're doing some amazing things. I'm excited about meeting all of you guys. I really am. And I look forward to coming on here every Sunday. And I'm really super excited because I haven't done Amazon Live in a long time. So this makes me excited. I really look forward to being able to share what I've learned over the years as a business entrepreneur. And I've been one for 27 years. I've been in media for 24 of those years. I run a chamber of commerce. I speak at conferences about podcasts and content creations. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. And I invite you to subscribe to my newsletter by going to thebookpreneur.com. Go to the newsletter and subscribe to the newsletter. And I'm gonna be coming back, and I'm gonna be probably doing some trainings and all kind of things on here, just so you guys can see what we're doing. But thank you again for stopping by. Thank you. I think that's a J Lo. I won't say are you the real J Lo, but are you the J Lo that we all know? That's what I was gonna say. Are you the J Lo that we all know? I don't know, but thank you, J Lo, for stopping by. Thank you everybody for watching. I see all of the eyeballs on the screen here. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and I think it's my first video. Find my first video on YouTube to listen to the story of us doing this book. Like, this is a funny story. It's a funny story too. Like, on the book, my name is not really even on the book. It's hilarious. But when you find the video and read this, hear what I had to say about it, you'll see why the names are not on the book. Like, we co-authored this book. It was three of us. It was three of us that called. My good friend Georgette, who is one of the co-authors, actually shot this cover with her camera, like a real camera. Like, there was no back then we didn't have like phones with these great cameras. She actually shot this with a camera, like a real camera. So she shot this cover in her house and made this a cover of the book. I don't even know if people do that anymore, but this is the cover. And I think this yellow on here was like a sheet or a piece of fabric or something. It's a great story, but check out the video that I did before. It talks about when we first published the cookbook to romance and what happened to the book after we sold out of our first run and all of that good stuff. So listen, I'll be back again. I might even stop by before then. It depends. If I have something to talk about, I'll stop by before then. If not, you guys have a wonderful Sunday. And until next time, my friends.